Ferguson.
Present.
Director Fons and Director Simpson have asked to be excused this evening. Director Reza is here pro tem.
Oh, present.
Director Benoit.
Present.
That's 3 present. We have a quorum.
The chair will now ask the secretary to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The chair invites any members of the audience who wish to participate to do so and asks that those who do not wish to participate please remain silent during the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being held at the Central Services Building. This meeting is also broadcast on the MPS YouTube stream, the link to which may be found on the MPS website on the broadcast page. Finally, for our listening audience, if you wish to access this evening's agenda, items and attachments online, you may do so by visiting the meetings agenda and minutes page of the MPS website. Before we begin tonight's meeting, we have a short announcement regarding interpretation services for the Spanish-speaking members of our audience.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a la Junta Escolar de las Escuelas Públicas de Milwaukee. Si deseas escuchar esta reunión en español, por favor llame al 312-626-6799. Otra vez, 312-626-6799. Introduzca el número de reunión 608-130-5362. Nuevamente, el número de reunión es 608-130-5362. Gracias.
For each of our items of business, we will hold a discussion and public hearing. If you wish to speak, please fill out a speaker slip and bring it to our secretary, Dr. Owen Moore. We have no virtual speakers registered. For the sake of fairness tonight, please, and to give everyone a chance to speak, the chair reserves the right to limit the length of time allowed to any one speaker. For the safety of all and to ensure the good order of the meeting, harassment or intimidation tactics of any kind will not be tolerated. Anyone who engages in such harassing or intimidating words or actions will immediately be asked to cease. If such behavior continues, a recess will be called and the offending parties will be removed from the meeting. Anyone ejected from the meeting may continue to listen to the meeting or access the agenda items online. However, the individual will not be allowed to rejoin the meeting. And now, given that our focus this year is on literacy, we have some help with the rest of our messages from one of our young readers. Nyla is a 7th grader at Story School.
Welcome to tonight's committee meeting. The committee will accept public comments on tonight's agenda items. Speakers may only address the items for which they have registered. Questions from the public may not be answered during public comment period. Following public comment, the committee will begin its discussion, and no additional comments will be accepted. When you are called upon to speak, please state your name and spell your last name for the record. Like this: Tamika Jones, Jones. Written testimony will also be accepted for transmittal to the board. Send this testimony to the Office of Board Governance, P.O. Box 2181, Milwaukee, Wisconsin 53201, 2181. Or email it to governance@milwaukee.k12.wi.us. Just as a reminder, Robert Rules of Order dictates that all comments, questions, or requests should be directed to the chair, who will determine the most efficient way to address them. Also, no one other than members of the board, designated staff, and those who have been invited to present or participate in items of business will be allowed on stage before, during, or after meetings of the board and its committees.
Thank you, Nyla, for being tonight's reader. If you have a child that you would like to read for the board meeting, send a message to governance@milwaukee.k12.wi.us. Now let's begin. Madam Secretary, item 1.
Madam Chair, item 1 is action on the request to approve the Education for Employment E4E plan. The administration recommends that the board approve the Education for Employment E4E plan.
Would the administration please present the item?
Chair Benoit and members of the committee, Brenda Castelli as superintendent.
This evening, I'm joined by Ophelia King, supported by Courtney Anderson, who will provide an overview of our Education for Employment Plan, commonly referred to as E4E. This plan ensures that we are offering students a comprehensive framework for exploring career interests, learning about potential pathways, and understanding the opportunities available to them after high school. Following the summary, we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Good evening, Chair Vanoy and members of the committee. My name is Ophelia King, Manager of School Counseling. Also presenting with me tonight is Dr. Courtney Anderson, our ACP Coordinator and School Counseling Supervisor. In today's rapidly changing workforce, a high school diploma alone is no longer enough to guarantee success. Employers are seeking graduates who can adapt, solve problems, communicate effectively, and work across diverse teams and environments. Our focus is on preparing students not just for graduation, but for college, career, and life. All academic and career planning, also known as ACP, and education for employment work is intentionally aligned to this graduation profile to ensure our students are ready for the demands of the modern world. Education for Employment, also known as PI 26, is Wisconsin's legislation requiring districts to provide academic and career planning services. This is a state-mandated annual requirement for the board to approve. The purpose is to connect academic learning to real-world application and help students prepare for future employment and education opportunities. Our E4E plan is to ensure that there are not just opportunities for students, but also partnerships to prepare students for their future. The academic and career plan is the centerpiece of this work, giving each student a personalized roadmap and a launching pad. This plan guides students from early grades through high school graduation.
Academic and career planning is an ongoing, student-centered process that helps students identify their interests, strengths, and goals. It supports them in exploring career options, building plans, and understanding the steps needed to reach their post-secondary pathways. The ACP framework consists of 4 parts: know, explore, plan, and go. Each phase helps students deepen self-awareness and make informed decisions about their futures. This process ensures every student graduates with a meaningful, actionable plan. School districts are required to provide academic and career planning services to pupils enrolled in 6 to 12 in school districts beginning in the year 2017-18 school year. The purpose of ACP services is to assist pupils with planning and preparing for opportunities after graduating from high school. These opportunities may include post-secondary education and training that leads to careers. ACP is embedded into the E4E statute, which spans elementary, middle, and high school grade levels and includes additional requirements as to how school districts must prepare elementary and secondary pupils for future employment, ensure technological literacy to promote lifelong learning, promote good citizenship, promote cooperation among business, industry, labor, post-secondary schools, and public schools, as well as establish a role for public schools in the economic development of Wisconsin. Families play an essential role in the ACP process, helping students reflect on their goals and support next steps. We encourage parents and guardians to review ACP plans in Zello and discuss opportunities with their child. Student-led ACP conferences held in grades 5, 7, 9, and 11 provide structured time for students to share their progress with families. These conferences build student ownership and ensure alignment between home and school. Students can also initiate conversations by sharing their Zello work anytime with their families. Zello is our district-wide ACP platform used by students in grades K-5 through 12. It supports career exploration, academic planning, and the development of interests and goals. Zello also gives educators and families a way to view student progress and provide feedback. Because it is accessible to all students, It ensures equity in the ACP process. Zello helps us maintain consistent expectations and engagements across all schools.
Over the past several years, we have developed a foundation for ACP across the district. We created a comprehensive K-12 scope and sequence and established Zello completion standards for grades 6 through 12. The board also approved, during the years that you see on the slide, ACP graduation requirements that include college and career readiness coursework, and every school now submits an annual ACP plan. We have also strengthened our school counselor training through partnerships such as Building Advantage and WRTP. A district-wide ACP timeline was also developed to ensure consistent implementation for the 23-24 year. Our next phase focuses on refining and strengthening our ACP implementation across all grade levels. We plan to increase family engagement through expanded ACP conferences and new grade level communication structures. We are focusing now on increasing the number of schools who ACP's teams progress from early stage implementation to fully institutionalized with high fidelity practices. We are also restructuring the district's ACP team to improve support and collaboration. Additionally, we are expanding our Milwaukee Parent Institute to help build ongoing family leadership and involvement. And lastly, we will be updating our portrait of a graduate.
Career and technical education is an essential component of ACP because it provides students with real-world, hands-on experiences aligned to workforce needs. 15 of our high schools support approximately 3,200 CTE junior and senior students or concentrators who have taken at least 2 CTE courses within a career pathway each year. There are over 7,400 CTE participants in the district, including those students who have taken at least 1 CTE course within their educational journey. Almost 2,500 students, 2,458 to be exact, students were in at least 1 dual enrollment course across the district, with 2,091 of those students, which is 85%, passing the course for credit. In 24-25 school year within CTE alone, students earned 2,383 credits through transcripted courses with MATC, which were taught by our own MPS CTE teachers. In addition, over 600 students participated in internships and youth apprenticeships that met the state definition for work-based learning, and over 2,000 students took courses where they had an opportunity to earn industry-recognized certificates. This is more than double the number from the 23-24 school year of 1,013 students. For the past 2 years, we've had a strategic planning committee made up of staff from CTE, school counseling, school to work, strategic partnerships and customer service, as well as contract compliance services, focused on sharing the partnerships we've developed and growing the number of businesses and community partners who support our students' work readiness and work-based learning experiences. This committee, in addition to all efforts provided through ACP and CTE and within our district, promotes equitable access by opening doors for all students regardless of background or school, to explore pathways, earn credentials, and participate in work-based learning experiences that prepare them for college and careers.
The level of student engagement in Zello demonstrates the district implementation of the Education for Employment requirements. This slide that you see in front of you demonstrates some of our Zello data from the 24-25 school year. Specifically, you can see with student engagement that we're meeting the requirement for E that provides the systematic career awareness, exploration, and planning beginning in the early grades and continuing through grade 12. The assessment participation data indicates that students are developing the self-knowledge necessary for informed academic and career decision-making. fulfilling also the E4E expectation that districts prepare students for future employment through intentional identification of their interests, strengths, and skill needs. The volume of students who have created plans, goals, portfolios, and documented experiences also reflect a sustained ACP process aligned with the E4E statute's requirement that district provides structured opportunities for students to build and monitor individualized planning over time. The trends in career cluster and post-secondary interests also provide actionable insight for aligning district programming with workforce needs and higher education pathways, supporting E4E guidance on promoting cooperation among business, industry, labor, and post-secondary institutions. Collectively, these data areas affirm that ACP is operating as the district mechanism for meeting E4E obligations, ensuring that all students are progressing toward college, career, and life readiness in compliance with the state statute for E4E. This concludes our presentation, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time. Thank you.
Do any members of the public wish to make comments?
We do not have any speaker slips.
Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director Reza?
I think this is a wonderful program. I'm just wondering, is this also offered for bilingual students in case? Because they're starting as it is it also transitional for parents who can't read English? You know, is it available for them that way?
Thank you, Chair Vanoy and also Director Reza. Yes, our Education for Employment plan, as well as our ACP activities are for all of our students in NPS. And parents as well.
Just one more. For parents trying to learn this, is it also offered them at schools or somewhere where they can learn how to manage this program or, you know, how to access it?
Thank you for your follow-up question. Through the way we engage parents in this process, we mentioned earlier our ACP conferencing. So we talk to parents during our ACP conferences so they have an opportunity to see how their students are progressing through their plan after high school. And then parents also have an opportunity to have their own Zello account. And we have different parent grade level meetings, different opportunities to show parents how to access the tool as well as demonstrate that for them. And so this year, we're going a step further with some of our Zello completion results to know how many of our families are engaging with the tool so that not only can they see how their students are doing, but they can also utilize the tool for themselves to search for jobs, to take those assessments that we mentioned earlier. They have full access to do that as well.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have one question. Since you said this has been implemented since 2017-18 school year, have we interviewed any graduates or anything to see how this is, how they found it useful after graduation or anything? Have we had the chance to yet?
Chair Vanoy, thank you. That's a great question. And I definitely think it's something that we can take back. We have been talking about following up with some of our graduates from our Milwaukee Parent Institute program, so that's definitely a great suggestion for us to take back.
Okay. Thank
Absolutely.
you. All right. Anybody else? What is the pleasure of the committee with respect to this item? Director Ferguson?
I move to approve the Education for Employment plan as presented.
Any further discussion? Will the secretary please call the roll?
On Director Ferguson's motion to approve the Education for Employment plan as presented, Director Ferguson,
Aye.
Director Reza,
Aye.
and Chair Vanoy.
Aye.
That's 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Madam Secretary, the next item, please.
Madam Chair, item 2 is action on a request to approve the 2026 MPS Summer Academy Plan. The administration recommends that the board approve the 2026 MPS Summer Academy Plan.
Chair Benoit and members of the committee, Brenda Caselli is superintendent. This evening, we're requesting your approval of the 2025 Summer Academy Plan. I'm joined by Ms. Natalie Anderson, supported by Dr. John Hill, who will provide an overview of the plan. This plan outlines the academic offerings for summer of 2026. However, there are a host of other activities and programs taking place over the summer, and we are working to develop a more comprehensive summary in the future to include programs such as Camp Rise, recreation programs, Hello Summer, CLCs, and more. Following Ms. Anderson's summary, we are prepared to answer any questions that you may have.
Good evening, Chair Benoit and members of the committee. I'm Natalie Anderson, Manager of Extended Learning Opportunities. I'm here with Dr. John Hill, the Director of College and Career Readiness, and Dr. Leah Gilliam, ELO Coordinator. We are here to share the highlights from the summer of 2025 and the proposal for Summer Academy for 2026. Through extended learning opportunities such as Summer Academy, we continue to work towards accelerating learning in a fun and impactful way. As such, Summer Academy and this plan are continuously evolving as we work with partners and other stakeholders on available summer programming offered throughout the summer months. Here we go. Last summer was a great summer. We piloted new curriculum focused on learning to align with Act 20. Students in K-5 through 3rd grade rotated through 4 literacy stations. Each station had an adult specifically trained on the station to guide students in their learning. We hired an additional 36 paraprofessionals to support in this strategy, allowing for our 1-to-5 ratio for student support. K-5 through 3rd grade teachers and paraprofessionals received 8 additional hours of training to support in this effort, with the 4 stations paying specific attention to phonics, reading comprehension, and writing. New programming was offered through STEM to the arts, and the performances at the end of the summer were amazing. We will continue to lean into teacher strengths with our call for specialty course offerings that's shared out district-wide. This gives staff the opportunity to submit unique course offerings for the summer. Look forward to seeing these additional programming offerings within the enrollment guide that comes out in early January. At the high school level, students successfully completed over 2,800 courses, including acceleration courses and courses at Marquette, earning over 1,400 credits during the summer. Our partners are huge support through the summer months, providing hands-on activities that align with the curriculum being offered, extended adventures from Mad Science to Hawthorne Glen. Milwaukee Rec also allows students the opportunity to go off-site and experience what Milwaukee has to offer. At the end of each summer, we sample students and staff to give feedback. Approximately 250 surveys were received from this summer. Through these surveys, we see students enjoyed the implementation of the new kindergarten through 3rd grade curriculum and felt as though they learned a lot. Parents also stated students learned a lot and came home excited to share what they learned. Teachers felt the literacy rotation model with the additional staff support would support reading growth, and our preliminary data supports growth happened. For 2026, this will be the first year all districts are mandated to implement summer programming for Act 20, specifically for students not exiting their personalized reading program. MPS is dedicated to continuing to review and strengthen the literacy curriculum. With the Office of Academics working on the adoption of new literacy curriculum, we look forward to strengthening the summer literacy curriculum even more. This brings the potential for additional costs based on the adoption. Also, as we look at the other grade levels, overwhelmingly, each grade level felt they learned a lot and were prepared for the start of the school year, which goes towards the heart of what we want: confident learners prepared for the challenges ahead. Also, we learned with our survey data that summer adventures are a hit with our students, which I'll talk about more later. For the summer of 2026, it'll be another great summer. We're looking forward to a lot of great, amazing offerings. With the change of the academic calendar, we will have one summer session. Students will attend Summer Academy July 6th through July 30th from 8 to 12. This shift in the calendar will change the funding cycle from being split over 2 calendar years to one FY 2026, with staff training and preparation occurring in June. Students will have the opportunity to participate in classes and enrichment based upon their interests and academic and career plan, recover or accelerate in credit attainment, and build upon their skills so they are prepared for the start of the new school year, always with the goal of accelerating their learning. Summer offerings continue to grow, and as the superintendent continues to develop new initiatives, we will expand program offerings. There are offerings for all grade levels to get a jump start on the standards they will face next school year, take classes based off their academic and career plan, or simply develop skills. We always keep in mind programming for our unique populations, such as English language learners, Montessori students, and students participating in extended school year. Stay tuned for an exciting Summer Academy enrollment guide coming out in late January. Here you see the tentative list of sites. The current plan is to offer programming in 15 sites across the city. Many of these sites will offer wraparound programs as well, supported through our Milwaukee Recreation Department, to make sure that families in need of full-day programming have the availability. Breakfast and lunch will be served at each site. To ensure fiscal responsibility and transparency, we continue to review the data from previous years to ensure efficiency at each site and provide the best support for students and families by location and program type. In determining locations, we consider enrollment, school availability, location of the site throughout the city, air conditioning, and accessibility. We work closely with departments such as NPS Facilities and Maintenance, the Special Education Department, to ensure each site is appropriate and can accommodate the targeted population. We will have online registration this year. Families will be able to register from home or receive assistance at their home schools and here at central office. We will continue to utilize counselors' expertise as we review high school registers to ensure the course they request align with their academic and career plan. Our goal is to begin marketing in January with registration opening mid-February, so we are able to capture families as early as possible. The deadline for applications will be in early June, providing us with enough time to create schedules and communicate with families before the summer session. Our partners help us infuse extended learning adventures into the summer curriculum and provide additional opportunities throughout the school year. Students have the opportunity to participate in innovative hands-on experiences like participating in STEM activities, learning about farm life, and so much more. As shown on the earlier slide, adventures remain one of the highlights of the summer experience for students. We also offer adventures year-round during out-of-school times, such as winter and spring breaks. Currently, the Humane Society, Urban Ecology Center, and My Sister Keepers have sessions offered over the winter break. Families can learn more and register online for our out-of-school time adventures on the Extended Learning Adventures page on the NPS portal. Freshman year plays a significant role in determining the success a student will have in high school. Freshman Bridge, offered August 20th and 21st, provide incoming ninth graders opportunities to meet ninth grade teachers and connect with other upperclassmen, learning about what the freshman experience was like for them through their eyes, identify extracurricular activities of interest, and they have the opportunity to ask questions to help them navigate their first year with information and skills that will lead to better outcomes. Students also engage in community building through participation in activities such as service learning. The overarching goal is to enhance students' confidence and sense of belonging as they transition into their high school journey. We encourage all students transitioning to ninth grade to participate in Bridge. Middle school Bridge is also provided. It provides the same opportunities to our sixth grade students. We want them to understand expectations of what middle school will be in the community building format. Students will get to explore their schools and its opportunity before integrating into the student body to get that comfortability. With that, extended learning opportunities such as these are critical strategies that support our student success, and we are prepared to answer any questions you may have.
Do any members of the public wish to make comments?
Nothing to know.
Do any members of the committee wish to ask questions or make comments? Director Ferguson?
Thank you, Chair Vanoy. Thanks for the presentation. It's pretty cool. Got a question, couple questions actually. In the Summer Academy, who typically participates? Is it, are any students mandated to participate, or is it completely voluntary? That's my first question.
Good evening, Director Vanoy, Chair Vanoy, Director Ferguson, Natalie Anderson, Manager of Extended Learning Opportunities. Summer Academy is not mandatory. We can't mandate it, but we invite all students. We do not turn any students away from Summer Academy. So teaching staff reaches out to students. We reach out to students. And I'm sure with Act 20, we'll be making special reach outs to students not exiting their personalized reading plan. So we invite all students, and we do not turn students away if they want to attend Summer Academy.
Okay. I got a couple follow-up questions. So I also noticed from the presentation that you said there are 121 graduates. Does that refer to the number of students that actually participated in the Summer Academy?
That's a great question. We love our graduations. So students needing those few extra credits, oh, I'm sorry, Director Vanoy, Director Ferguson. I got so excited about graduation. Those are students that just needed a few more credits in the summer months to meet the graduation requirements. So we have a summer graduation. Last summer it was 121 students. And then we also have a winter graduation that we will be hosting January 31st. And you all will receive an invite for that as well.
Okay. So thank you for clarifying that. So how many total kids participated in Summer Academy?
Great question. We typically have average around 5,500 students participating in Summer Academy. Typically, it's around 2,500 high schoolers, and usually around a little bit over that for elementary school.
Okay. And then the Summer Academy runs from 9 a.m. to 12 noon?
8 a.m. to 12 noon.
8 a.m. to 12 noon. And is it Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday, yes.
Okay. And then how much of that is actually instruction time from like summer enrichment activities or Milwaukee Rec?
That's a great question as well. Chair Vanoy, Director Ferguson, Natalie Anderson, Manager of Extended Learning Opportunity. The 8 to 12 time is direct instruction. So during that time for the elementary students, they're participating in 3 80-minute rotations, literacy, math, and then we do an A day and B day for science and social studies. They integrated in our extended learning adventures, so different partners come on site and support the curriculum that we're teaching in those offerings. And then at the high school level, we have 2 blocks, 8 to 10 and 10 to 12, where students can do credit acceleration and credit recovery.
Excellent. And then
I should state also that, so after that time is the rec time. So recreation usually comes on site. They start their program at 12:30 and continue on through the end of the day.
Excellent. And then I heard in the presentation that this summer will be the first summer that Act 20 requirements are in place. Can you describe what that will look like?
Great question. Chair Benoit, Director Ferguson. For Act 20, we are required to do intensive reading, specifically with the fourth grade students not exiting their PLP. However, we've developed curriculum to do intensive reading with grades. Last summer, we did K-5 through third grade. This year, we'll do K-5 through fifth grade. So all students participating in Summer Academy will get an 80-minute literacy block where they participate in intensive reading.
Okay, can I ask a couple more? Okay. So I'm very, very curious now because with these Act 20 requirements kicking in, you just said a few minutes ago too that you cannot mandate students to attend. Is that some type of a state standard, or is that a district standard that we can't mandate students to attend?
That's state statute.
State statute, okay.
Chair Benoit, Director Ferguson, I'm not certain because I haven't read the state statute yet, but I wonder if the policy, and maybe, I don't know if Mr. Chasen can help us here, if the policy is restrictive, if the board would have the ability to put in place more restrictive than what is the state policy and statute.
Chair
We can look into it.
OAE, yeah, with respect to that, I would want to consult legal on that. It's a fair question, to be sure, but I think it would be more appropriately posed to that area. Excellent question, though.
So, and I asked that question because obviously we all know that we have a literacy issue that we're working very, very hard to overcome. And it would be interesting to see what we can do, like in terms of summer instruction for students that are completing the school year but are not at grade level in literacy. If there are things that we can do using that summertime to sort of close that gap for them from where they are to where they should be at any given time. And considering that there's such a big focus on literacy and Act 20 requirements kicking in, how are we, so will we be using letters training in the Summer Academy?
Chair Benoit, Director Ferguson, we plan to align with the HMH version 3 curriculum. So we're currently working with curriculum instruction and the academic superintendent on the curriculum that we'll be using for Summer Academy.
Okay, thank you.
Chair Benoit and Director Ferguson, I just want to comment that although I don't believe in grade retention and have never really believed in grade retention, I do believe as part of our learning plans that we can be more compelling on the offerings, you know, and making sure parents understand the benefits of summer school and just be much more intentional with our counseling staff, our elementary counseling staff, and, you know, making sure that students understand the opportunities that they have by coming. When I was teaching, we did something like hoops and homework, and we could get kids to pair up. So pairing up with rec is another strategy to get kids there for parents who need wraparound services for all day care too.
Director Reza? Yes. Mr. Chasen?
Thank you, Chair Benoit, Matt Chase, and OAE. I think it's implied, but I want to make sure that the public gets to hear it. What's the cost to our families for them to participate in Summer Academy?
Chair Benoit, Mr. Chasen, great question. The Summer Academy is free for all students living within the city of Milwaukee.
Thank you. And then I recall from previous Summer Academy presentations highlighting that students had actually completed not only course recovery, credit recovery, but actually had completed college credits. Is that still an option within our Summer Academy as well?
Chair Vanoy, Mr. Chason, that is still an option. Last year, students participated in coursework at Marquette, and we're looking into options for this summer as well.
Thank you.
Fantastic. What is the pleasure of the committee with respect to this item?
I move to approve the 2026 MPS Summer Academy Plan. Did I say that right?
Any further discussion? Yep.
I would ask that we approve, but I'll ask the administration to maybe bring back that statute related to the question that I asked concerning our ability to mandate students that are not reading at grade level to participate.
If there's no further discussion, would the secretary please call the roll?
On Director Reza's motion to approve the 2026 MPS Summer Academy Plan, Director Ferguson,
Aye.
Director Reza,
Aye.
and Chair Vanoy.
Aye.
That's 3 ayes, the motion passes.
Madam Secretary, next item, please.
Madam Chair, item 3 is monthly report with possible action on the MPS FY26 academic/literacy plan. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would the administration please present the item?
We're just getting set up right now, so I'm just talking to make sure that airtime is recorded appropriately. We're getting very close. We're preparing to share the academic literacy update.
Chair Vanoy, members of the committee, Brenda Caselli is superintendent. At the request of the SASI committee chair, the administration will provide regular updates on the FY26 academic literacy plan. To present this update this evening, I'm joined by Chief Mims Howell and Dr. Trejo, academic superintendent for literacy. Following this update, our team will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Good
You can
evening.
fix that one for me.
Yeah, we'll do that. Good evening, Chair Vanoy, members of the committee, Jennifer Mims Howell, Chief Academic Officer. Tonight, I am here to update you with Dr. Rocio Trejo, our Director for Multicultural, Multilingual Department. Last month, you heard from Dr. Bell Jimenez about the Module 3s that were coming for our students, and as we unpacked and prepared for the HMH adoption. This slide talks about we would continue that all will read, all will teach. All means all. We heard the concerns from the teachers in the field, and we wanted to make sure we address their concerns and also look at what is to come for them. The academic audit conducted by MGT showed that the findings that Milwaukee Public Schools was compared to the high-quality schools framework. The levers that were used were visionary for student-centered leadership, ambitious instruction, cultural support, and authentic partnership. Milwaukee Public Schools has chosen to focus on the domain of instructional excellence. This is where our literacy plan comes in. The information that was shared last month by Dr. Bell Jimenez, as well as with MGT, talked about the shift that we are going to have as we move from HMH's current practices and materials we are using through the modules to HMH version 3. The first day of our professional development, Dr. Bell Jimenez spoke to the teachers on November 24th about the shifts that would come. We also collected information from the teachers, and we published them regarding the shifts that would happen. We took this feedback and we also shared this with the HMH trainers that were on site the second day of training, November 25th. On this day, principals and teachers worked with the HMH trainers as well as on-site MPS trainers on version 3 in unpacking the sneak peek that was given to us. After the training happened, principals collaborated with the academic team and did walkthroughs to count the number of students in schools as well as the sections by grade of the students of what they will need. The walkthroughs consisted of making sure that all students would have the updated materials they need for the learning to happen. After that, we took the orders that were given, made sure that each student was accounted for, and placed the orders with HMH. I'm happy to report that starting on Monday, December 15th, materials will be delivered to the schools, weather permitting, of course. During the unpacking, what will happen is 2 to 3 members of the academic team will work with 3 to 4 school-based people, as well as the academic superintendents and the operationals managers. We will spend 3 hours in buildings preparing and unpacking the materials for what is to come in January. The professional development that happened on December 3rd with our school leaders was considered a professional learning opportunity for our principals to work with Dr. Bell Jimenez. She gave them an overview of understanding the science of reading. This was a follow-up for what they had been given in the 2-day training they had in August. She also spoke to them about the plan for transitioning to the HMH version 3 materials, the role of the school leader. There is a recording that principals can go back to reference any of the things that they want to continue to work on. And then finally, she prepared the principals for what will be arriving in version 3. While principals have had textbook adoptions in the past, we wanted to make sure that they had the support to make sure that the materials they were not going to use were being packaged and prepared to be moved out in place of the version 3 materials that were coming. The instructional leaders here at Central Office will continue to professionally develop the teachers on the early release days as well as on the professional development days that are coming. Through the work of the learning communities, we will make sure teachers have the support that they need to ensure students learn with the new HMH version 3 adoption. Now I will turn you over to Dr. Rocio Trejo, and she will speak about the instructional design and our next steps. Dr. Trejo?
Thank you, Chief Ms. Howells. Rocio Trejo, Department of Multilingual and Multicultural Education Director. The instructional design is what allows us to organize standards and skills into specific instructional blocks. To this end, the academics team engaged with HMH last week. In the bilingual program, standards are primarily taught in one language. The Content and Language Allocation Plan designates a primary language of instruction to each content area by grade band. We use green to denote Spanish and blue to denote English. For example, in grades K5 through 5, we see that science and mathematics are in green. This means that Spanish is the primary language of instruction in the area of science and mathematics at these grade levels. Then in grades 6 through 8, science and mathematics are primarily taught in English. This gives students the opportunity to learn content in each language throughout their educational career in MPS. While this table reflects the primary language of instruction, as part of teaching for biliteracy, students are guided to compare and contrast their languages side by side, noting similarities and differences in sound, word formation, grammar and syntax, as well as language use during the bridge. This process helps students transfer concepts, skills, and vocabulary they have learned in one language to the other. After the bridge, students are provided with meaningful opportunities to practice the newly learned academic vocabulary, concepts, and skills in the other language through supplemental materials. When instruction in English is occurring, English language development standards can be paired with academic standards. The purpose is to guide educators to teach the functions and features of the English language relevant to the academic content being taught. In this manner, English learners receive intentional instruction to advance their language learning. Another tangible example of instructional design is the fulfillment of the ELA adoption RFP, for which the textbook adoption policy is being followed. The RFP will be public soon. The academics team is currently seeking committee members to review materials. HMH was awarded the literacy adoption in 2021, a request to change their contract to secure version 3 for grades K5 to 5, which includes word recognition, through the 2028-29 school year was completed. We will have our literacy leadership team meeting with MGT, Office of Schools, and Office of Academics on December 17th. We are actively planning long-term professional development for teachers and leaders to support the rollout. Messaging from this team will generate communication to families, which will go through communications and marketing, as well as strategic partnerships and customer service. Thank you for your attention. We will take questions at this time.
Do any members of the public wish to make comments?
We do not have any speaker slips.
Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? We have none. There's no vote or anything, so Madam Secretary, next item, please.
Our next item is item 4. It's a report with possible action on an action plan for the district's sustainability team. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Thank you. Would the administration please present the item?
Chair Benoit and members of the committee, Brenda Caselli is superintendent. In accordance with Resolution 1920R-016, we're sharing with you the quarterly report on sustainability and climate justice collaboration. Additionally, the team will share the drafted sustainability plan in preparation for board action on the final plan in the months to come. I'm joined by Chelsea Malacara, Sustainability Project Specialist, supported by Mike Terza, Kimberly Talarico-Wolf, and Heather Dietzel. Following the presentation, we'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have.
Good evening, Chair Vanoy and members of the committee. Tonight, I'm here to present the district sustainability team update, and to close the presentation, you'll also hear from Jenny Murillo, 5th grade bilingual teacher at Coggle Elementary School. Before providing our update, I wanted to share, particularly for our new board members, 2 key school board resolutions that laid the groundwork for sustainability and climate action work here in the district. The first, titled Our House is on Fire, called for the district to integrate climate justice into all curriculum and all grade bands and sustainability practices into all aspects of MPS's work and functions. It also called on the district to develop a sustainability action plan, which I will speak to later. Resolution 223R007 called on the district to cut its greenhouse gas emissions by 45% by 2030 and by 80% by 2050. And then finally, a third resolution was passed in 2023 to establish a mechanism to fund some of this work by establishing a green revolving fund. These resolutions have played a critical role in carrying this work forward over the last 5 years. Many of you may be familiar with our green schoolyard redevelopment projects. These projects are part of a multi-partner, multi-year collaborative program that replaces seas of asphalts on our schoolyards with green infrastructure that manages stormwater, as well as adds trees, outdoor classrooms, gardens, recreational facilities, and arts opportunities to our schoolyards. To date, 37 of our schools have been transformed, and about 16,000 students now have access to vibrant green spaces at school. Just this summer, we completed construction at Humboldt Park, Samuel Clemens, Coggle, River West, and Walt Whitman, and are currently completing the designs for next summer's cohort 8 schools, with 2 other cohorts in different stages of planning. These programs are an asset not only to our school communities, but to the community at large, sometimes serving as the only continuous green space in the neighborhood. We've been able to achieve these drastic transformations to the tune of $35 million in grant and partnership funding. However, with changes in federal grant funding priorities, we are short on the next cohort's fundraising goal and have only raised 45% of the $9.2 million needed for the next 5 schools. We're currently looking for additional funds and ways to creatively use the dollars we have secured. On the greenhouse gas reduction front, we've accomplished a lot since our last update. Our team secured a $50,000 grant from the Wisconsin Public Service Commission to hire the nonprofit firm Slipstream to conduct the district's first greenhouse gas inventory. The inventory covered the last 13 years of emissions, and with that data, Slipstream produced a report of reduction strategies that we could implement to meet our reduction goal. And the good news is our facilities can achieve reduction goals through phased efficiency measures that both improve our schools and could result in utility cost savings. Because of this report, we connected with new partners, including Building Power Resource Center and Andonta K-12, who support school districts in larger decarbonization and emissions reduction efforts. Building Power Resource Center supported us in an energy opportunities assessment and geothermal feasibility study for the district, and our facilities team will be exploring pathways to act on that assessment in the coming months. This year, we also worked with 12 schools in the district to implement a pilot food waste collection program in our cafeterias. These programs are supported by staff and student champions who receive a stipend for participation. The intention of this program is to establish best practices for food waste collection and lunchroom recycling in our district, identify how these programs can be scaled and supported at all schools, and develop a toolkit. The toolkit will be published in June of next year and distributed to all schools. While we continue to advance sustainable practices in our facilities, it is so important that our work gets translated into our classrooms so that our students not only benefit from the improvements we make to their learning environments, but the hands-on experiential learning opportunities that connects them to these practices. One way that happens is through teacher training. This last year, our climate education coach, Kim Tallarico, launched an innovative in-person 8-module paid professional development course titled Climate Health Equity. To date, 83 MPS educators have completed the course, accounting for a total of 952 total hours of instruction, and a 5th cohort with 40 educators will be held this spring. The course also has a wait list, and it has proven effective. We partnered with the Medical College of Wisconsin to look at course outcomes, and they identified there was a statistically significant increase in educator understanding and confidence in teaching climate health and education after the course. Educators continue to ask for resources and support to integrate lessons about climate health, trees, air quality, energy use into the existing curriculum and utilize their schoolyards and facilities as living classrooms. In addition, we have expanded library titles that will be added to the climate education collection that we've curated so far in all K-8 libraries, and library media specialists will also be receiving professional development to support the use of those titles in the classroom. There's so much more our sustainability team is doing, more than I can present here today, and what has been needed since the passing of the resolutions is a roadmap that guides this work strategically and intentionally, that aligns sustainable practices and curriculum integration with the larger vision for our district. Over the last year, we've been developing a community-driven, student-centered plan that does just that. It supports every learner and empowers every teacher, every educator, every staff person to lead in this space, to equip our district with the resources and tools we need to be good stewards of our community, our resources, and our planet. We kicked off this effort in January of 2025, and to oversee the plan development, we assembled a district sustainability committee made up of individuals from different departments who were nominated by their chiefs at the time. In December of 2024, we secured funding for this plan when the district acquired funding from one of our longstanding partners, Citizen Action of Wisconsin, to hire Green Schools National Network to facilitate the development of the plan using the Greenprint framework. The Greenprint is a framework for whole district transformation that promotes best practices in leadership, curriculum and instruction, culture and climate, and facilities and operations. The framework is grounded in the belief that everyone matters, that students from all backgrounds and zip codes and regardless of social, gender, and racial identity should have an equitable opportunity for academic excellence and equitable access to healthy environments. It supports the idea that everyone is both a leader and a learner, and that for systemic change to endure, we need to pursue whole school, whole district transformation. The goals laid out in this plan are written to support academic excellence, operational efficiency, and safety well-being across the district. So how do we adapt this framework and develop our own goals? From February to April, we focused on collecting data about energy use, waste tonnage, green schoolyards, green teams, et cetera, and really understanding the current climate around sustainability among district staff and students. Using a combination of focus groups, surveys, and one-on-one discussions, we heard from individuals from every department and every level of leadership, as well as community members and students. An important takeaway from the survey and focus groups was that while a majority of individuals stated that sustainability was not currently part of their, or a prominent part of their MPS experience, they were excited that the district was developing a plan and were willing to modify their own priorities and practices to advance the work. Green Schools National Network then generated a baseline report that our core team from the District Sustainability Committee used to develop the first draft of the plan. Over the summer, the core team wrote the first draft and presented it at the Sustainability Leadership Summit in August. Around 100 district leaders, including students, teachers, staff, and community members, and some school board members as well, came together to workshop that draft and identify how the district could implement the plan, measure progress, and ensure that this plan represents the voices of our students. We also engaged in additional larger community feedback at the Green and Healthy Schools Conference the following day. This fall, the core team took all the feedback from the summit and community engagement and spent a few months revising the goals and developed a second draft, which you should have as an attachment. This month, we're focused on sharing this new draft for additional comments and feedback from the community. Next week, we're hosting another engagement session with students from the Superintendent's Student Advisory Committee. This month, we also began working on the work plan that will accompany this sustainability action plan we presented today. This document will have benchmarks for each action and goal, identify key facilitators for each and potential costs associated, and if any, and what chiefs will oversee the overarching goal or action. In January, we'll finalize both the Sustainability Action Plan and the accompanying work plan and bring it to the board in February to approve as part of the district's larger strategic plan. That is when we'll bring together all the key facilitators, and those individuals will now make up the district sustainability committee for the next 5 years to oversee the progress on the plan. As I mentioned at the beginning, this document serves as a 5-year roadmap for healthy and sustainable schools for our district. There are 9 priorities that we believe represent the voice of this community and a vision for a future where all students thrive. The 9 priorities fall across 3 impact systems, and over the next 5 years, we'll also measure how this work is impacting the culture and climate of our district. Under each priority, there are 2 to 3 strategic goals, and under each goal, there are specific actions that will be assigned to those key facilitators. The District Sustainability Committee will then meet twice a year to measure progress on the goals and identify where resources are needed, what challenges exist, and explore opportunities for collaboration both interdepartmentally and with our community partners. We know that healthy learning environments, place-based learning, nourishing food, inviting places to learn, and connection to the natural world are really ingredients to academic excellence. We have seen it firsthand. And here to speak to that is Jenny Marillo, a 5th grade bilingual teacher at Cagua Elementary School and staunch advocate for using our schools and facilities as living classrooms and connecting students with the world around them.
Thank you, Chelsea. Good evening, Chair Banoy, members of the committee. My name is Jenny Murillo, 5th grade bilingual teacher, Cagua Elementary. As we discuss the district sustainability action plan, I keep thinking about how different things might look if this work started decades ago. We didn't fully recognize the urgency then, but today we do. And I truly believe we are not too late to make changes for our students, for our community, for our schools. Last fall, I completed the Climate, Health, Equity for Educators course offered through our district. This class helped me tons. I understand how climate literacy and sustainability can be integrated into what we already teach without replacing or competing with core subjects. Since then, 4 teachers at Cagua have taken this course, and together we brought that learning directly into our classrooms and our newly developed green and healthy schoolyard. We learned about resources that were available and we can use to help students understand the world around them. We learned about ways to engage our students, not just with textbooks, but using technology, field trips, speakers that could visit our schools, or even ways to enjoy and learn in our outdoor spaces, so they can offer experiential learning opportunities to all our students to help them solve the problems of tomorrow. As teachers, we have a huge responsibility, the responsibility to follow a tight schedule when it comes to the curriculum. I know that. We learned that being good stewards of the planet is equally important too. We know that learning, reading, writing, and math is so important. But through the class, we learn how to integrate sustainability and climate literacy into our existing curriculum to make this learning more engaging and meaningful to our students. For example, nowadays, we know that literacy is so important for our district, and so it is for my school. So if we are reading a story about hurricanes in our literacy unit, we can incorporate information about adapting to more intense weather and how sustainability practice play an important role in saving lives and protecting property. The MPS District Sustainability Action Plan will be very important for us as educators. We are role models for our students. Students look at us to understand the world around us. We model what to do with energy, with waste, with composting, things in our buildings that matter to us, like clean air and water. We can show them from the first day of school the importance of turning lights when we leave the classroom, to reduce food waste in the cafeteria, to recycling what we can. Students at CAGL, I'm happy to say this, but because the students at CAGL are very engaged in our green and healthy schoolyard. They are so happy. I see students protect these spaces and help each other keep the playground clean. Our students are learning to advocate for the environment they use and tell others how to take care of the space as well. Students are drawing and writing about their new landscapes. They can see science come to life when they go outside and look at plants in their schoolyard. They are learning that plants are beautiful, pretty, but also they act as an important part of water filtration systems that help keep our basements dry during major storm events in our city. This sustainability plan will really matter to our students. We now have in our hands a chance to affect the future with our students. They will learn to take action, care of the environment, and become true stewards of their schools, their community, and the world around them. We can do this now. This plan will help impact how and what students learn. This plan helps us not just for the curriculum, not just for our buildings, for our life. Thank you so much. I will turn back to Chelsea.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for your time this evening. If you have not had a chance to read through the plan, we invite you to do so, but are happy to take questions that you have now.
Thank you. Do any members of the public wish to make comment?
We do not have any speaker slips.
Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director Reza?
It's not really a question, but as Chicago is a school that's down the block, and I saw the engagement of the students just enjoying going out there and seeing everything and learning. And I've seen them pick up garbage as it is, making it pretty. And I remember seeing, I think it was a second grader. He's like, "Don't throw that. Put it back, or else you're gonna get." She was just lecturing one of the adults that you can't litter, and it was just an experience. You know, they're engaging, and it's like a healthy learning environment. So I really do applaud you so much of what you're doing. So thank you.
Ferguson?
Sure, just one quick question. I'm referring to the green schoolyard redevelopment. You mentioned that you guys had only raised 45% of the 9.2 million that was needed for cohort 8. My question is, do you have a deadline that you need to raise this by? And who's responsible for raising it?
Chair Vanoy, Director Ferguson, Chelsea Malakara, Sustainability Project Specialist. It's a great question. As far as a deadline goes, I would defer to my colleague Heather Dietzel, who's our Sustainability Project Specialist. She's in the room in the back. She's right here. I'm going to let her take over and answer that question if that's okay.
Director Ferguson, thank you for that question. It's an important issue for us to raise all the money so that we can do these full transformations that Jenny's experienced at her school. The deadline is the end of the calendar year, so it's this month. And then we go to bid in January, February, and we'll present the contracts for construction in March so that we're ready to construct as soon as school's out in June. Our team is working hard. The nonprofit Reflow is working really hard. The MPS Grants Department is working together, and we're evaluating all options at all times. We are waiting on one especially large grant that was delayed due to the federal shutdown, and that's from the National Fish and Wildlife Organization. So that's $1 million that we're waiting on, and they said that we should get news in January. So one of our strategies to wait for that potential money to come in is we may push bids back to February instead of January so that we can capitalize on that money. Beyond that, we will take our schoolyard plans and identify alternates, which is areas that we may have to cut out, so that we can make sure to go forward with some form of the plan, even if we can't go forward with all of the plan right now.
Chair Benoit and Director Ferguson, I think many of you know that my former past job was working in climate justice for Fresh Energy, and play and playgrounds is a huge part of children's learning. And also, we all know the impacts of the floods that we had to our community this past summer. I think that there's urgency to do these play yards, and I want you to know that I am looking seriously at our plans here. I want to commend the team on this wonderful presentation and their plans moving forward, but also looking at how do we get every single school a playground, a play yard, and so you can expect that as we look at our long-range facility plan and our capital improvement plan, that I may be bringing some changes so that we can stay on target.
Yeah, great to hear. And I really appreciate the presentation today as well. So I'm glad to know, and you stole one of my questions because I was going to ask how you how you were using your previous role in what we're doing here now. So my final question is, how is the foundation leveraged in this at all? Is it at all, and is this something that might be good to put on their radar?
Thank you, Director Ferguson. The foundation is deeply involved in our plans for green schoolyards, and they have been since the very beginning. So the foundation has been working with us, and we partner and we do tours on our schoolyards for any organizations that the foundation may be courting for support of their efforts, MPS-wide, as well as our programs, and they're in partnership with us as well again this year. So we are leveraging foundation funds to help supplement, and their funding focuses on educational and recreational development elements of our schoolyards, because we can get grant money from environmental organizations for the green infrastructure component. So the foundation is a critical member of putting those educational classrooms and play features for our students.
Heather, outside of the $1 million grant we're waiting for, what is the gap that we're still trying to reach December 31st again?
To fully support the $9 million goal, we'd still be looking for sub $1 million to make sure that the projects can go forward fully. So I'd say a number is about $4 million that we're looking for.
Thank you.
I also just have a comment, well, 3 comments. I want to say, when I was reading this, I was just absolutely struck at how well-written it was and how everything was realistic, was action-oriented, and just very practical. I really appreciated that, and I loved how absolutely everything was directed at students and every aspect of the students' day. from food to curriculum to everything. It was just amazing. And I also appreciated how you used feedback constantly, like in all of the planning, and you let us know where you gathered the feedback and how you used it. So I really appreciated all of that. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Any other comments? Questions? All right, thank you very much. Madam Secretary, next item, please.
Madam Chair, our next item is item 5, a report with possible action on the Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs Gear Up Grant. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would the administration please present the item?
Chair Benoit, members of the committee, Brenda Castelli as superintendent. Here's another exciting update. This evening, I'm excited to share that Milwaukee Public Schools has been awarded a 7-year Gear Up, which is Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Program Partnership Grant, beginning October of 2025. Over the 7-year period, the grant will provide approximately $23 million to MPS. With the required dollar-for-dollar match, this grant will ultimately bring a total of $46 million in additional programming and support for more than 4,000 students. To share an overview of this grant, I'm joined by Erica Pollack and supported by Dr. John Hill. Following Dr. Hill's presentation, we will be happy to address any questions you may have. I'll note that the fund distributions for this grant will be included in the contracts and waivers at the AFP committee meeting on December 16th.
Good evening, Chairperson Benoit, members of the committee. I am Dr. John Hill, Director of College Career Readiness, and with me is Erica Pollack, the College Access Supervisor. Tonight we'll provide that overview of the Team Gear Up grant, 7-year, $3.23 million per year federal grant that strengthens Milwaukee Public Schools college and career readiness systems. MPS, for the record, previously implemented a $14.9 million Gear Up grant from 2011 to 2018, which produced measurable improvements in graduation rates, college participation, and advanced placement course enrollment. This grant award that you will hear about tonight was based on a specific action plan submitted by MPS to the federal government. That plan identified goals, strategies, schools, personnel, partners, budget, timeline, and an evaluation plan. I serve as the principal investigator and provide overall oversight to the grant. Erica Pollack serves as the deputy principal investigator overseeing implementation, partner coordination, and support of project staff. Together, we will ensure alignment with district priorities and strong cross-departmental coordination. At this time, I will turn this over to Erica Pollack, who will walk you through the details of the grant.
Chair Benoit, members of the subcommittee, it's truly my pleasure, Erica Pollack, College Access Supervisor, to share this very exciting news about our Team Gear Up grant. Gear Up is a highly competitive federal program that increases college readiness for low-income students. It follows a cohort of students for 7 years. Our grant starts in grade 4, so we'll be working with students from grade 4 through their first year of college in the final year of the grant. This funding supports academic readiness, advising, family engagement, college exposure, and scholarships in those final 2 years. We are happy to report that Milwaukee Public Schools received one of the largest partnership grants in the nation in this cycle. This grant represents a total of $46 million investment in our students. That includes our required match to ensure students are prepared for post-secondary success. For MPS as part of the match in year 1, the commitment is about $900,000 worth of in-kind salaries and benefits for staff supporting the effort, and another $1 million in in-kind meeting space for our schools and partners to engage in this important work. As I mentioned, Team Gear Up supports a continuous pipeline from grades 4 through 13. Each year, the cohort progresses, ensuring uninterrupted advising, academic support, and transitional programs. This structure provides consistent college-going messaging and targeted interventions. The overarching goal of Team Gear Up is that MPS students are prepared to enter and succeed in post-secondary education. We do mention that this is in its broadest definition. So this includes associates, bachelor's degrees, as well as technical diplomas and credentials. Objective 1 strengthens academic readiness by increasing 8th grade math proficiency, improving Algebra 1 completion by the end of 9th grade, as well as increasing 9th grade and on-track rates. Overall, we're looking to increase GPAs to 2.0 and higher, as we know for our students, GPA is the #1 predictor of post-secondary enrollment. Objective 2 supports long-term outcomes, including improved graduation rates from high school, increased dual enrollment and other early post-secondary participation, higher FAFSA completion rates, and improved second-year college persistence. These measures align with MPS strategic goals and our federal grant accountability measures. Objective 3 ensures students and families understand the processes leading to post-secondary enrollment and success. This will include FAFSA workshops, family engagement events, and targeted planning resources. The last objective is really focused on building a college for all culture across Team Gear Up schools and reinforcing equitable access to opportunities. This goal is measured through climate surveys and other stakeholder feedback. As we mentioned, Team Gear Up will serve 28 elementary, middle, K-12, and high schools. This program will impact more than 4,100 students annually. The schools chosen represent a broad cross-section of the district, providing aligned readiness pathways. While we're not able to serve all schools directly with the Team Gear Up grant, it will allow us to strengthen our understanding of high-impact practices that benefit students and families. These strategies, much like those developed during the first Gear Up grant, will support continuous improvement and inform district-wide enhancements. The comprehensive supports provided through Team Gear Up are evidence-based, high-impact practices based both on national Gear Up research and also MPS-specific outcomes. Specifically, the grant will support high-impact tutoring starting in 4th grade in math and literacy to boost academic achievement. In total, we'll be hiring 9 staff members to work specifically on the Gear Up grant, but critical for our student and family facing is the Gear Up advisors. We'll hire 8 Gear Up advisors to coordinate activities and programming at the school level. They'll provide advising and mentoring for individualized student support. This will occur in collaboration with our school counselors, our college and career centers, and other existing school staff and structures. Our families are critical to our success as well, so this will involve engagement activities to increase awareness. We'll also be able to offer paid professional development for our teachers and staff to enhance classroom instruction as well as mentoring. Expanding dual enrollment opportunities with local colleges and partners, and growth of our career academies in high-demand industries to prepare students for the modern workforce. Specifically, what you can look for in year 1 of the grant. Grades 4 through 7 will participate in programs such as the Cambridge Educational Services Non-Negotiable Skills Curriculum, which is an early college and career readiness skills development. We'll actually be the first district in the nation piloting these skills. We'll also be making sure that our gifted and talented students are offered some additional opportunities in ELA through the Center for Advanced Academics and Northwestern University. One of our national Gear Up partners is Texas Instruments, and they'll be integrating STEM tools across all of our classrooms. We're very excited to get all of our current 7th graders in TGU to a college visit this year for that important college exposure. In addition, we'll have mentoring through Mentor Greater Milwaukee, My Sister's Keeper, and the Boys and Girls Club Be Great Graduate. Mentor Greater Milwaukee will also be performing landscape analysis across our schools to look at how mentoring is playing an important role and what opportunities for growth there are. NAF, which has been a really important partner in our career development within MPS, We'll lead professional development on project-based learning, curriculum alignment, and career awareness events, connecting our middle school students with high school students and high-demand industry and workforce partners. As we saw a great presentation from my colleagues in extended learning, we will also have additional opportunities through Team Gear Up for summer programming. These will be enrichment programs through Northwestern University, UW Parkside, Whitewater, and additional literacy and math opportunities for educators. Many of these programs will be residential camps, exploring things like education and technology. These efforts are grounded in the district's efforts for academic achievement that ensures both universal and individualized student support. In addition, MPS will partner with the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee's socially responsible evaluation and education to lead our program evaluation and data-driven continuous improvement efforts. As we mentioned, Team Gear Up is a partnership grant, which means we had partners commit during the application to the role that they would play in addition to the matching dollars. As you can see our current partners on the screen, we have many higher education partners, including our continuation of M Cubed with MATC and UWM, but also working with UW Parkside, Oshkosh, and Whitewater. In the other categories, we have national Gear Up partners such as Texas Instruments, and then local community partners such as Yes Milwaukee, Boys and Girls Club, and Mentor Greater Milwaukee. These important partnerships expand capacity and build long-term sustainability. Partners also contribute to the required match, as we stated before. Thank you so much for your time and continued support of this multi-year investment. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the various MPS staff who contributed to the successful application process and foundational work, including grants administration, communications, procurement, and human resources. Next steps, we'll host a formal Gear Up kickoff for our students and families and communities in January. This will engage all those parties. The event will raise awareness about the goals, opportunities, and resources available to participating schools. In addition, in January, we'll launch the Team Gear Up Advisory Committee with the first meeting in January, bringing together MPS leadership, school representatives, students, families, grant partners, and community stakeholders to help guide and evaluate the ongoing impact of our grant. At this time, we welcome any questions and look forward to discussing the long-term benefits of Team Gear Up.
All right, do we have any members of the public who wish to make comments?
We do not.
All right, do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director Ferguson.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations. It's really exciting for us to be offering Gear Up again. I'm very familiar with Gear Up. It produces some amazing talent throughout the district. It cultivates amazing talent, including my very self. So I'm very, very excited about it, and I was excited to learn that we were approved for this grant. When is the Gear Up, the formal kickoff?
Director Ferguson, Chair Vanoy, it will be held in January. We are still working on a specific date, but we'll make sure that board governance has that date.
Thank you. And that's it. I just wanted to congratulate you guys and everybody who worked on bringing this to bear.
Yeah, absolutely, congratulations. Mr. Chasen?
Thank you, Chair Vanoy. Matt Chasen, OIE. One of the challenges in having a grant over a 7-year term, and I think we ran into this the first time we were awarded, was having a level spending and making sure that the allocation matches the intent during the implementation term. Is the expectation that we would generally see approximately 3.2, 6.4 annually over the 7 years? Is there a possibility that based on the implementation, there may be years where we see more? Is it a runway where we roll in maybe less dollars in the front end, but more at the end? What should the expected level of spending be over those 7 years?
Thank you, Mr. Clayson. Chair Vanoy, members of the subcommittee, it is a specific allocation for each year. And we recognize the importance of starting that spending off quickly, which is why I recognize many of our MPS partners. And we have made significant strides in setting up the framework and hiring the staff in year 1. But it is a specific annual allocation. Thank you for the question.
All right. Thank you.
You also do a great job with your presentations, too.
All right, Madam Secretary, next item, please.
Madam Chair, item 6 is report with possible action on services provided to students with disabilities in the least restrictive environment, LRE. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would administration please present the item?
Chair Benoit and members of the committee, Brenda Cassellius, Superintendent. This evening, Dr. Travis Pinter, accompanied by Brian Banasic, will provide an overview of the least restrictive environment report as he walks us through the attached information. If you have any questions regarding this item, happy to answer.
Thank you. Chair Benoit, members of the committee, Travis Pinter, Senior Director of Specialized Services. The LRE, or Least Restrictive Environment, data is now reported to the board twice a year. The December report that you have in front of you provides a snapshot of almost the entire calendar year of 2025, from January through November. You will note the 3 indicators associated with LRE, 5A, B, and C. The state has set a threshold for each indicator that we are aiming to surpass. In the case of 5A, it is a minimum, so we aim to be above that percentage. In the cases of 5B and C, it is a maximum threshold, so we aim to be below that percentage. I am pleased to report that we continue to be within our target for indicators 5A and C, with steady progress in lowering B. Due to the number of students we have in special education in the district and the incremental changes statistically, it can sometimes be difficult to ascertain real growth in these areas. Therefore, I'd like to share some more longitudinal information. When you consider the numbers over the last 4 years, or the length of time I've been reporting on LRE, you will note an increase of nearly 800 students to Category 5A, more than 600 fewer students to Category 5B, and about 20 fewer students to Category 5C. Our special education managers, supervisors, and program support teachers continue to reinforce the principles of LRE on an ongoing basis through meetings, professional development, and through compliance metrics such as those we'll be discussing in the next board item. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Do any members of the public wish to make comment?
We have no speaker slips.
And do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? No? No? All right, thank you very much. Madam Secretary, next item, please.
Item 7 is report with possible action on annual school procedural compliance self-assessment, PCSA. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would the administration please present the item?
Chair Benoit and members of the committee, Brenda Cassellius, Superintendent. This evening, the administration presents the annual procedural compliance self-assessment report, referred to as the PCSA. I'll turn it over to Mr. Pinter, accompanied by Brian Banasic, to provide an overview of the report and address any questions.
Thank you. Chair Benoit, members of the committee, Travis Pinter, Senior Director of Specialized Services. Reading drives achievement. Procedural compliance self-assessment, or what we call RDA PCSA, is a Department of Public Instruction system of continuous improvement focused monitoring that does a few things. It leads to improved service delivery to students with disabilities. It provides information for needed professional development, and it contributes to district personnel accountability for high outcomes for students with disabilities. The RDA PCSA assesses items in the following areas. There are 4 items in initial evaluation and reevaluation activities. There are 23 items in IEP activities. There are 4 items in IEP implementation. There is 1 item in discipline requirements, and there are 3 items in shortened day requirements. Due to being the largest school district in the state of Wisconsin, the Milwaukee Public Schools conducts the RDA PCSA every year, as opposed to a rotating schedule of every 5 years, which is the requirement for each other district. The MPS RDA PCSA is conducted in the spring and is conducted for every school in MPS. The compliance assessment yields both school and district level data that is used to ensure federal, state, and district policies and procedures are being followed to the highest extent possible. I'd like to take a moment to briefly describe how the report is laid out before Brian goes into further detail. Items and descriptions you will find on page 6, going over those 35 items that I mentioned. On page 9, you will see items with MPS percentages of compliance. columns comparing this year and last. Please note that the current year is the column on the left. I'm not sure why it's formatted that way, but I want to point it out. MPS schools itemized with percentage of compliance or in alphabetical order is on page 12. And then on page 15, you'll have MPS school percentages of compliance in rank order. You'll see, again, columns comparing this year and last. And then on page 19, we have itemized percentages of compliance broken down by each school alphabetically. There's 2 sections. And that's how the report is laid out. And I now turn it over to Brian to go over some details within this year's report.
Chair Vanoy, members of the committee, Brian Bonasic, Specialized Services Community Manager. For the 24-25 year, the Department of Public Instruction modified the time frame of IEPs to review. This greatly reduced the number of IEPs reviewed. In fact, many schools only had 1 or 2 IEPs reviewed. This in turn resulted in significant changes up and down in terms of percentages. After seeing this, the Department of Public Instruction has already made adjustments to the selection process for the 25-26 school year to ensure a statistically significant selection pool. However, drawing any conclusions regarding improvements or increased need from the 24-25 results should be limited to areas of the assessment that were not affected by the time window and the selection process. These areas that are not affected are discipline and shortened day assessment. Discipline 1, after the 10th cumulative day of removal in the same school year, the LEA provided services during any subsequent removals. Discipline 1 decreased from 45.35% to 43.16%, a decrease of 2.19%. This is related to the 23-058 correction plan from the Department of Public Instruction, where administrators are required to request a pattern review prior to suspending a student past the 10th day. Here, there was a significant improvement in reducing the number of students with disabilities suspended past the 10th day. For the 23-24 school year, 517 students with disabilities were suspended. 1,061 students without disabilities were suspended. During the 24-25 school year, 284 students with disabilities were suspended past the 10th day, and 967 students with without disabilities were suspended. The change? Students with disabilities decreased by 54.93%, while students without disabilities decreased by 0.10%. This process continues, and we hope to see even more decreases. The other area that was not affected by the window in the sample is the shortened day. Shortened day 1, the IEP explains why a shortened day was required to meet the individualized disability-related needs of the student. This decreased from 88% to 50%. Shortened day 2, the IEP contained documentation that the IEP team considered other options to avoid shortening the student's school day and provided reasons why they were rejected. This increased from 70 to 75%. Shortened day 3, the IEP includes a plan for returning the student to a full day as soon as possible, including conducting IEP team meetings more frequently. This increased from 66% to 75%. To continue improving all areas assessed by RDA PCSA, the Specialized Services Department supports school personnel through professional development opportunities in inclusive practices, positive behavioral supports and disciplinary requirements, eligibility criteria, supplementary aids and services, specially designed instruction, data collection and analysis, as well as IEP development. These opportunities are in addition to DPI-facilitated trainings for specialized services administrators on the RDA PCSA items at the start of the school year and prior to the spring RDA PCSA activities, as well as internal systems of control that include specialized service administrators regularly review IEP activities and provide feedback to school-based personnel regarding these activities, and specialized services administrators complete school-specific quarterly reports that require a school leader's review. The report addresses timely completion of IEP activities, maintenance of special education class lists to ensure appropriately licensed providers are in place, and the disciplinary removal suspension data for students with disabilities. This concludes our report. We're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, do any members of the public wish to make comment?
We do not have any speaker slips.
Still. Do committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Mr. Chasen?
Thank you, Chair Benoit. Matt Chasen, OIE. What I hear, and I think I raise this annually, is that MPS being subject to an annual assessment, and the only one in the state subject to the annual assessment. And you combine this with what DPI tends to do, which is to change a measuring stick. That this district continues to be the guinea pig for these types of maneuvers. And I think that we then help the rest of the state benefit because we identify the challenges immediately, annually, and DPI then learns from our experience to the benefit of the state. And I just think that that's an important point to make. Thank you.
Director Ferguson?
Okay, just one quick question. I was looking at the school assessments and the 24-25 score of compliance, and some schools are very low, like Vincent High School, for example. What exactly does that mean?
Director Ferguson, Chair Benoit, members of the committee, Travis Pinter, Senior Director of Specialized Services. Yeah, that's a good question. That first column, if you notice, for 24-25 reflects what Brian was talking about in terms of we had a very low sample size, and DPI was, as Mr. Jason pointed out, experimenting with some things. And so I think it was well-intentioned, but they were trying to reduce the amount of time and effort that was going into it. Unfortunately, that small sample size means because of the amount of schools and students we have, some schools had very few to choose from. So there are some low scores in there. I would, as Brian said, caution over interpretation of them because it might have been one or two cases. All the NAs mean they didn't even have any that they could pull from. So we worried about it when it happened. Brian and I sort of put this data on our calendar and said, we're going to have to present this data as is, and we know it's going to be something you have to explain. So in part, we're asking you to this year look to the column to the right, see kind of how the numbers typically look. Next year's numbers should look more like that again, and we'll have a better comparison. But that's the reason you're seeing a lot of NAs and some very even numbers, 50%, 33%, probably because it's 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 2, that sort of thing, because they didn't pull enough.
Thank you.
Director Benoit and Director Ferguson, we do have a special ed audit that we're going to be doing at the end of March. Even if you look to the right column, I just want to be fully transparent that, there are some areas of improvement, of course, in this area and how we are both monitoring and being sure that we are fully compliant, as well as the services going to our students with special needs and how we're programming for them from both the previous report with the least restrictive environment and inclusive environments, as well as looking at how we're monitoring and managing, case managing IEPs. And so we'll be looking and doing a deep dive. This information will be useful, but as Mr. Pinter shared, some of it will have to be questioned, but I know that our audit folks will look closely with both historical data and current data for their recommendations.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarity. All right. That's it. Madam Secretary, next item, please.
Madam Chair, that was the last item on this meeting's agenda.
There being no further business before the committee, this meeting's adjourned.